First of all, to the people that are like, they earned it. No, they didn't. The gap between the very, very top and the average person is so huge. Like, Donald Trump wants to scream about the Dow and how, oh, the economy's doing great. Well, that's not what a measure of an economy is. And the Dow is just the 30 largest companies. So if your measurement of how every American is doing is based on the 30 largest companies, which the Republican agenda certainly is because they're not focused on the American people, then yeah, I guess the economy is doing great because they have record profits. But what the economy actually is and what it is at its very core is an exchange of goods and services between people who need goods and services. Stocks and mutual funds, which is not just the Dow, but would encapsulate the companies in the Dow. The bottom 90%, so 90% of Americans have around 12% ownership in the stock market. And the next 90 to 99% have 35% of the wealth in the stock market. And then the top 1% has almost 55% of the wealth in the stock market. So when Donald Trump is screaming about the Dow, he's literally talking about the 1%. Oh, and of course, the bottom 90% has almost 80% of the debt. The other thing is that people don't understand how much money this is. And actually somebody had a really good thing, which was the difference between $1 million and $1 billion is if you have $1 million and you don't invest it and you spend $10,000 every month, it would last you 8 years approximately. Not even a decade. $1 billion, however, spent at that rate, $10,000 a month, would last 8,000 years. And that is one single billion. These men, these 900 people that we're talking about, have tens of hundreds of billions of dollars. $1 trillion, 1 trillion, would last you 8 million years. Elon Musk has enough money right now to spend $10,000 every month for 8 million years and not run out. These people's wealth have almost doubled since Donald Trump came into office. They are looting the American people. They are literally robbing us blind. They are cutting all of the services that a government is supposed to provide for its people and using that money to give insane, inflated government contracts to these tech companies or spend it on war and murdering innocent civilians. And now it's kind of both because Palantir is both a tech company and a war company and an AI company. So yeah, it's just like a tri-fucked. It's a trifecta. What else do people simp for billionaires? They pay more in taxes than you. No, they don't. No, they literally don't. Jeff Bezos' effective tax rate is 0.98%. Not even a percent. My tax rate is almost 40 times that. Probably more than 40 times that because they be taking it. So no, they do not pay what they owe. They cheat and lie and steal. And now Instead of doing those things, they just bought politicians to change the rules for them. Yeah, we just have to elect people that are not bought and paid for by these corporations, because pretty soon the people that have all the money now are going to literally have all of it, and we, the normal working class, the normal middle working class, because now there's almost no middle class. So the Walton family, Walmart, is consistently ranked as a top employer of SNAP and Medicaid recipients, with an estimated $6.2 billion annual cost to taxpayers in public assistance. So these billionaires don't pay taxes. The shitty ass companies that they own don't pay their workers a living wage. And then they don't pay them benefits, so that they have to rely on public assistance, which is taxpayer money. So while most people want to be mad at the person that's taking the free stuff, what's actually happening is these giant mega corporations are allowed to pay starvation wages and force these people to use public assistance because they're not being paid enough for their full-time work. And there's just simply no reason not to require them to pay people more when they are some of the richest people on the earth. It's just obscene. It's obscene. It's disgusting to have that much wealth while so many people are struggling. And people want to say, like, oh, nobody's making you give away your money. Yeah, because I don't have all the fucking money. Like, we are trying to take back what people have hoarded because of their exploitation of people. Like, we're not talking about people who have 3 houses and fly first class. Like, we're talking about people who have the ability every day, the literal ability, I'm not being hyperbolic, to end world hunger. Like, they have that ability. They could write a check and feed the world, and they don't do it. They could fund public education, write a check, they don't do it. They could pay for everybody's health care. They could write a check, but they don't do it. That's the type of wealth that we're talking about. And in fact, what they choose to do with that much wealth is build private islands and abuse women and girls and do the most obscene things. So it's pretty much proven that the people with this much money shouldn't have it, and it leads to nothing but disgusting, Epstein-esque shit. Actually, people who are screaming about capitalism refuse to take a step back and acknowledge that monopolies are the antithesis of capitalism. Now we have a handful of tech oligarch bros who own all of our major media stations. Amazon owns my doctor's office. Like, why does Amazon own a doctor's office? Why is Amazon allowed to own a doctor's office? How is that even remotely close to what they're doing? Like, it is insane. So, yeah. And also, like, these massive corporations don't pay taxes either. And they need to pay their fair share because, like, we need to get that money back into our functioning society. And despite what people say, like, oh, it's not the government's job to feed your kids. Well, it is the government's job to feed hungry kids, not your kids or my kids. It's the government's job to provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. It's right there in the preamble to the frickin' Constitution. So, yeah, It is the government's job. Anyway, billionaires fucking suck. It's not like, oh, like if we do this, it won't even make a difference. No, it is, they have such an obscene amount of money that even if we just we did 100% tax on wealth above a billion. Yeah, $1 billion. Like, we'll do 100% tax above $1 billion. And then that means that those poor souls will just have to live off of $999,999,999. I mean, I think they can survive. It's really not that complicated. Tax the motherfucking billionaires. So also, the important thing about this moment is that when we win the House and we have a majority in the Senate, we have to start cleaning house. Every insider trade, every market manipulation, every accusation of sexual misconduct, every single thing, every single allegation about this administration and Trump's family will be looked into. We will have a very significant, if not complete, overhaul of the entire framework of the government, because Donald Trump has shined a light on the weaknesses of our democracy, and yeah, we can't bleat about reform. We have to take some bold action and figure out how to create a system moving forward that actually works for the American people, because this shit ain't it. I'm talking like a new Bill of Rights where it's very clear that healthcare includes a woman's right to make her own choices about her fucking body. That you have the right to marry whomever you want as long as they're a motherfucking adult. And while we're at it, adults are not below 18. Yeah. Tax the rich.